umbrella from the States next years for sure.
One sentence to sum it up. All of you said I agree with it, but look, we are talking about the way how the American elections will influence Georgia or Middle East. But what I see is, if the Trump wins, the America will not, produce much more and lead with democracy, but will lead with chaos. And this is what the stakes are. So we don't know what happens with Iran, in Israel or Georgia in case the Trump comes back.
Mm-hmm. You think that it hasn't been leading with chaos so far? You think there's been
to the extent it is possible right now, no, not. There were some checks and balances in the system, but now they are not there.
Well, I guess we naturally drifted towards our third topic, and that is American elections, of course. So with only 48 hours remaining until the final stage of the U.S. presidential race, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are neck and neck. So each vote could prove decisive. The election is set to reshape politics far beyond the U.S. borders, as we've pointed out. So let's take a look at our report.
In Michigan, former First Lady Michelle Obama campaigned alongside Harris, urging voters to mobilize against a potential Trump victory. The former First Lady highlighted fears over women's healthcare access and what she described as Trump's erratic behavior.
So please, do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us.
Meanwhile, Trump has been busy energizing his supporters with populist rhetoric. After making promises to Michigan's automotive industry, the former president met with Arab American leaders who voiced support for his stance against ongoing Middle Eastern conflicts. While national polling averages show Harris slightly ahead, Trump has maintained a narrow lead in 5 out of 7 swing states. With voter concerns ranging from abortion rights and economic stability to foreign policy, this election is poised to have profound consequences both at home and abroad.
All right, so definitely a heated subject. So let me just sort of, put it out there. Who do you think is going to win?
I will bet that Kamala Harris is going to win, unless Donald Trump will, and we will not know for the next week, right? Yes. But lately, when I was leaving my house, with the last comment of Donald Trump with Tucker Carlson, during the Tucker Carlson interview, when he actually said something really violent, even though he did not really mean it, what they now say they mean it, the violence against women, Dick Cheney's daughter, Liz Cheney, that he said she should face the squadron of 9 carabines or, bullets, this was really appalling. And it shows how irresponsible Donald Trump is in leading the world. So I honestly think that if Kamala Harris wins, this will be one of the things that really happened at the last minute. Of course, I also say Kamala Harris because there is Anthony Lichtman, I believe. He's the guy who always predicts who will win. And he's the American prophet. He started with Ronald Reagan, and from now on he predicted Donald Trump's win. And I saw that he predicted that Kamala Harris will win. So I surrender to his wisdom, and I say Kamala Harris.
That sounds to me like the octopus who picks.
Exactly. So I predict Kamala Harris, although I really don't know. That's the truth.
Do you believe in the theory that Republican wives will actually vote for Kamala, and they're not openly saying that they will?
I don't know. It's so difficult to say. I mean, the pollsters in the United States are very careful given the previous mishaps and misinterpretations of the electorate results. It's very difficult, and we probably will not know even a day or 2 days after the election. It could be counted, there might be situations when in several counties in the swing states there will be recount or special commissions, etc., etc. So it could drag. We might not know. We might prepare. We should prepare actually to the situation when we might not know in a couple of days. But I can tell you what I will remember from this campaign very vividly. First of all, you probably were shocked as me seeing the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And for me, it was a sign how violent the campaign was, how deep is the polarization in sense of electorate, in sense of policy. And the second thing, and this is not even funny, the immigrants eating dogs and cats in Springfield, which was obviously said by Donald Trump during the debate, during one of the rallies. And this, in my opinion, shows that this is also epitome of how the campaign was uneven on the both sides. That Trump can say anything, whatever lies he think of, and Kamala Harris has to stick to facts, has to talk about economy, is asked about international policy, and she's really criticized about it. So this campaign wasn't even, and it took place mostly on internet. And obviously, this way of communicating that Trump shown, he mastered it over years, is very dangerous and leads towards victory, I'm afraid.
But then Harris can always count on Joe Biden to say something inappropriate, right?
Well, it wasn't even just because Donald Trump had 2 years and Kamala Harris had 2 months or maybe 4. But this is the last week we see her emerging as a leader, that she's not afraid. She actually formulated her thoughts enough to be charismatic, and we really see it now. Will it be enough? We don't know. Just to want to say that if one the thing that it's actually corresponding to Georgia and Moldavia, that I think if Donald Trump wins, it will be also because some of the people are afraid of violence erupting if he loses, because he will not admit that he lost. So
that's what I was going to ask you about.
American people might be also voting afraid of the terror, one thing. And the other is with the vote, the blinking eyes. I vote for, I am the Republican wife and I'm voting for Trump, but in reality I'm voting for Harris. I honestly think this one could backfire, because if they, the Democrats went the gender war, it could be the same with guys. They are voting, the Democratic wives will be informed that I am voting for Kamala Harris, honey, but in reality I will vote for the, machism and male power.
Very good point. But I wanted to ask you about the possible concession. I mean, will Republicans concede if they lose? Because it's not so clear, right?
Well, we don't know, do we? I mean, the indications are that if it's very, very close, there'll probably be, a series of contestations in various states and so on. Also depends on what happens, obviously, in the House of Representatives, right? The Senate, in particular. It's no, I mean, I think from what has been said so far, I think all of the things that we talk about, that we kind of, liberal, democratic supporting people believe to be the kind of standard discourse doesn't exist for a lot of Americans, right? I mean, I think that's where Trump and Trumpism work, and that's the kind of the unknown, or one of the unknown variables. It's a fantasy world that Trump has created, and he occupies that space extremely well. He's very. No, I mean that's how I see it.
Reality world, right? Because
it's an alternative reality.
He's not politically correct.
Well, of course, yeah, but it's like you say. It's like some people may sort of subliminally, buy into that, that picture of a kind of a strong leader, a kind of a proto-fascist leader who's not a fascist, who toys with democracy, who plays some kind of game. The question is, again, I think what happens to those more trenchant Republicans, those on the kind of the very far right, the kind of the alt-right, who were responsible for the January the 6th uprising after the last election. The question is really, is it possible without, if Trump loses, technically, what happens to that group of people? Because they're the ones who are liable to cause kind of civil unrest and, you know, contest the election physically on the streets. And Trump, I think, exploits those people as well. Right? I mean, he's very transactional. He knows that he is the buckle that ties together this kind of quite diverse group on the right between kind of traditional Republicans and libertarians and kind of alt-right nationalists, which is not a very happy family. But they're held together by this kind of avuncular character. And Trump, I think, I mean, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I think Trump has played his role extremely well to that extent. He's given everybody the possibility to project onto him the thing which they think he will represent for them.
And what about evangelical Christians? Because I've came across a theory that they're the ones deciding who will be the US president.
Listen, I want to say something important, yeah? Because I don't know who will win, but my wife knows. And on the other hand, my wife doesn't interact with American debate. She said she has an intuition that Kamala will win. And she's sure about it, you know? So why? It's not a joke, because I think the key factor in the States is the mobilization of women, voting women. Yeah? So if they are enough well mobilized, I think she will be a next president of the US. What about Trump? That's the last chance for him to be a president. So he did a lot in campaign. He was really mad, you know, very much active. And the chaos that we can face just after elections, I mean, next days after elections, weeks maybe, will be crucial for American democracy. Yes, because everyone expects some violations. What type of violations? I mean, an attack on a hill? I don't know. But
the lawyers are preparing, I think, already litigations in various swing states. So, yeah. You know, it's going to be a...
This will be also a big... if Kamala Harris wins, this will be a big exam of is she going to be a good president? Because we really don't know. We know that she has the right ideals, but she really did not prove herself anyhow. We really... The paradoxical thing is that we all know, we all say that Donald Trump is unpredictable, but we know him for so many years that we actually could predict probably much better than what Kamala Harris will do.
First of all,
she really is a mystery.
We don't know exactly.
She's a dream. She's everyone's
She's
dream.
also a loose cannon. You never know what she's going to do.
You know? Here for once, and it's a good thing. The conversation would be more interesting. I think we know what to expect from Kamala Harris administration. She is not a very strong leader. She doesn't have enough support inside Democratic Party. There are sections, there are groups in the Democratic Party that do not support her. She was chosen by the majority because of the situation with Biden and got the support because she was the only chance. She was vice president, she was already there. But she will have to adjust her policy towards the mainstream of the Democratic Party, and we know what a majority of Democratic Party wants and how it will proceed. So I don't think she will be unexpected leader drifting to us some new policies, some new agenda. But what I'm really afraid of, and I have to tell you, I'm watching the campaign and the news from United States with anxiety, with fear even, is that in case of second term of Donald Trump, him returning to the power and his allies, we really are at the crossroads in a global sense, not in America that is, you said about women voters, but really the electorate change. During the last 20 years, there is 50 million immigrant Americans, and mostly from the South, but also from Asia. So this is not America we used to remember, and the electorate is different. What is interesting for us probably is paradoxical, that those new immigrants from Mexico, for example, they are supporting Trump. So the voters, the average voter in America is not like we used to think of him or her. It's somebody different. It's maybe a different mindset. So I think what we might face after the Donald Trump would be a president, will be a president, is a new world order, a new America that might not be the same country with the same values and the same system that was developed in the 18th century.
And just to round up our discussion, my last question will be, shall we be concerned about Poland, about the region? And we only have time for a short answer.
No. Every expert I was speaking with just before this election said that you are safe because, Biden-Kamala administration. But coming back to Kamala for a while, her presence in Biden administration was not very much spectacular. It was a second line in politics, So we really don't know how she will behave. Behave as a president. But coming back to Poland, Trump is transactional, as we told, and our spends for defense are higher than his expectations. So we will be the beloved pupil in his class, experts say, because our spends for is just coming to 5% of GDP. So it's we are safe from the point of view of democratic administration. It will be continuation of Biden line, and it's still absolutely safe for Poland. Of course, there is a question of Ukraine.
The question of Ukraine, exactly.
Yeah,
I was
the
going
question
to say.
of Ukraine is open.
Yeah.
Open, of course, but NATO countries, especially Poland and Baltics, this is not my opinion. That's the opinion coming from experts from DC.
What happens?
You can feel safe.
What happens if Trump pulls the plug on support for Ukraine? What happens? What happens then? It makes Polish.
Loses war.
Yeah, but
so what happens to Polish security if Poland is safe?
I think both candidates will run for ceasefire in Ukraine next year. Both. And Trump can stop support and weapons delivery, but Kamala is not able to pass on a hill another big support, billions of dollars. It's over. Never, no one more.
If I could just
that doesn't make Poland safer.
Summing
does
up,
it?
Poland is safe no matter who is in charge, Kamala Harris or Trump, because we had good relationship. Yep. PO had good relation with one, and however, the world will be much less safe with Donald Trump in charge. For this, I'm
Donald Trump is a very bad idea, a very bad sign for Poland and NATO and global stability and Europe stability, and without. U.S. in NATO or presence as we used to have,
will never destroy NATO.
We are really in a bad place.
And on this note, we have to conclude. Thank you so much for being with me this morning. Much appreciated. And thank you for watching Press Corner. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.
Have a good day.